Hello, this is Lino Tadros, and this is going to be a very quick video to show you how to install the Sitefinity VSIX, we call it Sitefinity VSIX, into Visual Studio. Whether you have Visual Studio 2019 or 2022 or in the future, there will hopefully always be an extension that will help you with the cookie cutter code inside of Visual Studio. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to open up Visual Studio. This is Visual Studio 2022. But at the same time, let me remove my face from here, give you more space. And you will go ahead and go to extensions and say manage extensions all the way at the top. And we will go to online and we will look for something that has the word Sitefinity in it. And hopefully soon we will see that there is one called Sitefinity VSIX for VS 2022. There is a different one for 2019, but that's okay. You will find it anyway in whichever version you're using. And then I'm going to say download. It will download this really quickly, but you'll have to shut down Visual Studio to install it, and the VSIX will start here in a second. The whole thing should take less than 30 seconds to install it, and we'll say modify, and that will install the VSIX for Visual Studio 2022. And once it's done, you will restart Visual Studio, and from that point on, you will have VSIX installed. You have to be inside of a Sitefinity project so for it to work, and I'll show you that as soon as it finishes loading that. I'm going to put it on pause here for a second until it finishes, and then we'll keep going after that. All right, it finished. It took an extra 10 seconds or so. I'm going to say close this guy. Now we'll go ahead and open up Visual Studio 2022 one more time, and I have a project in here that I've been using. There you go. And that's opening up the Visual Studio 2022 with the project. I call it SF143. And you will notice here in this project now, if I would like to create a new widget or a new template or a new resource package, instead of doing that all manually and having to remember which folder under MVC I have to create my controller and which folder for the model and how to create the view in its own. All the stuff, of course, you can do manually, but it will be much easier to right click on the name of the project, for instance, and now go to say add. And what the VSIX have installed for you all the way at the bottom, there is a new item in the menu for Sitefinity caused by the VSIX that got installed. Now I can click on Sitefinity and look at all the things that you can do now. You can create a brand new resource package, a page template, a grid widget, a module project, or even an integration test project as well. So you can actually start for all of these. If I say widget, for instance, just to show you how easy it is to start one of those, it will bring in a small dialog. You can give it a name. For instance, we'll say test V6. Alrighty. We'll use the template name default, which is the only one available currently in the V6, and we'll say OK. And once you do that, it will run behind the scene the CLI. It will ask you if you would like to reload the project, so all the files will be available. And now notice under MVC, so many of the folders have already been changed. So now under controller, I will have a new C# file called test V6 controller, and under model, I will have the test V6 model, and under views, I will have a new folder called test V6, and underneath that I will have my Razor syntax file, the CS/HTML file. So again, could you have done all the stuff yourself? Of course, but this will actually be much faster for the cookie cutter. Not only that, but even if you open up the controller for the test V6, for instance, you will notice all the way in here it created a class. It inherited from the correct class and the correct interface, and it created the control toolbox item for you so it can decorate and register your control as well. And it will create a hello world kind of property. We call it message as a string, just to have something in there that will work right away out of the box. So it saves you a lot of time regarding the code generation just to get you started and be productive as soon as possible. That's what the V6 and how to install it. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you again in a future video really soon. Thank you.